Yeah. So I tried to get Rob to come over here to record with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was busy.
Oh, damn it.
But yeah, I mean, he's doing his more important stuff. But the thing that's really funny is that then the very first thing, because I just wrote Rob yesterday, being like, "Hey, dude, what's going on? What are you doing tomorrow?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, you guys are recording. Like, it's like, well, you want to hang out with us? This and that and that." And he's like, "Oh yeah, maybe I'll think about it." So maybe Rob will come over later.
Okay,
which would be cool. But then immediately he then diverts the conversation to Avatar.
Okay, yeah. Well, what's he been on with?
He's just like, "Dude, have you seen it? Have you seen Avatar 2? When are you gonna go see it?" And I'm like, "I don't know, in like a year maybe, when it like is on like Disney Plus or some shit."
I'm not paying for it. That's my rule. Yeah,
but he was like trying so hard to convince me that like I should. He's like, "Dude, it's so sick." And this just reminds me of, I remember I made a Twitter post about this like relatively recently-ish of that then. Like, I will not be involving myself in Avatar discourse because it's like one of the only things that we've gotten in an actual fight about as a podcast.
It's the thing that's actually split the podcast, and that's the real reason Rob left.
And the thing that's really funny is that, I mean, this isn't a secret, I don't think. We, the three, you, me, and Yulia, have very strong opinions that Avatar is a garbage movie.
Yeah.
And Rob is like, we'll ride or die, we'll defend Avatar. Even admitting to me, though, that he has not seen the first one in a long time.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would like to clarify my position of like, I don't like Avatar the first movie. I'm going to assume that I won't like the second one because most criticisms I've heard is like it's basically the first one again.
Cool.
But the thing that I do find very, very funny is just the whole kind of like media critique kind of industry just being like, this isn't good. This film's not great. Blah blah blah.
This is the best thing ever. It's one or the other.
I haven't seen any like professional reviewers say that it's good.
Okay.
Like I'm talking about like people who are in newspapers and stuff like that, and they're just like, it's garbage. Don't see it. It's 3 hours long. It's too much. Blah blah blah. And it's already like the 10th highest grossing film. Like I do love the powerlessness of like the people who are supposed to be like the tastemakers in the face of everything James Cameron does.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like that's the thing of it too, is that then I kind of had a reflection on we're on Avatar talk now, which is perfect.
Yeah.
Neither one of us has seen this movie, but regardless if I remember that much of the first movie or not, and regardless if I like came out of the theater like really underwhelmed, because I remember I've only seen this movie once. It's not that I found it particularly like bad or anything. Like it's not. By no means would I say Avatar's like a garbage film.
Yeah.
I just found it like you go in expecting like, oh my god, this is supposed to be like a mystical, magical world, and it found I found it very bland. It was impressive as a film. I guarantee that if I watched it again now, at my own time, not with someone who is so hyper stoked on it that they kind of ruin the experience for me as well.
I would want to see it with Rob. I would love.
I would want to see it with us again, because at the end of the day, I think that if I rewatched Avatar, I'd be like, it's a fine movie, and especially the era that we exist in now, where everything is either a Marvel film or some iteration of something that seems similar to it.
Yeah.
And I bet that Avatar at least stands the test of time. Like every other James Cameron movie of like, they're all corny as shit.
Yeah.
Titanic, great film, but like corny as fuck.
You've almost certainly seen something worse.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
That then is like similar in vein to Terminator 2, especially, is just a phenomenal movie that then's also just like, it's cheesy.
Yeah.
Like James Cameron is good at what he does. And I think in the sense of if I go into it now with the perspective of one, being older, two, actually understanding, because I mean, that came out like what, 14 years ago or something like that. Like I was like just getting out of high school. So like it really is like, yeah, I mean, also too, how I watched movie as a high schooler was also much dumber than how I'd watch movies like now. So I think I would have, again, like not saying that then I would become an Avatar stan, but I feel I would at least like understand it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I will, you know what? A corner Späti raffle. If you want to take me on a date to go see Avatar 2,
a 3 hour long date,
hit me up. I will be glad. You know what? I will pay for it. Okay. If you want to take me to go see Avatar 2, I will gladly pay for it. And you can get your own personal me talking through a movie being like, damn, son, that's crazy. Look at these motherfucking blue people shaped like Marines.
look at this fucking spare ass. Yeah, I did see in DM being advertised Navi themed fucking eyeshadow. But
whatever. Yeah, that's we live in that world. It's
wild.
like like you're gonna get like Avatar cologne, like smell smell like unobtainium or whatever.
Smell like Pandora. That was the name of the planet, right?
Yeah, that's okay. The best part about the about those films too is I really just appreciate the fact that James Cameron's imagination is that of like a 14-year-old. Like, bro, what if there was a stuff like the most powerful element on Earth, or like not even like in the galaxy, that's like needed to, exist? Called unobtainium.
I just need to Google. Okay, hang on. Planet from Avatar.
Yeah, Pandora. It is. You're right. Yeah.
Because that's like
it's bad. It's so good.
So like I get that we So I get that we probably named the planet, like in the story.
Yeah.
Humans named that planet. So and we name planets after Greek shit all the time. That's what we do. But like,
come on.
Yeah. like Pandora's in the same solar system as like the James, like the fucking the fucking monomyth Hero's Journey planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's moons called Chekhov's gun or whatever, just like telegraphing to you like, yeah, we named this planet like place we probably shouldn't go or look into.
Yeah, but like, I mean, like, look at it though too. Like, even in our solar system, there's some corny as fuck names like Titan, Europa.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it is. Maybe James Cameron is onto something.
Ancient Greek cringe.
Yeah, return.
Return to like, I don't know, whatever came before Greek. God, what was that? I've forgotten. No, I've forgotten.
What, Pythagoras, who was a Greek man?
It's something, the Sumerian Greek or something.
Oh, like Sanskrit and shit or whatever?
Yeah,
or no?
I don't know.
All right. Well, then take that. Take the James Cameron corny ass fucking, Pandora bullshit.
Yeah.
Which, like, it is corny. Or you could go the, like, George Lucas, Frank Hubert route of just being racist with your names.
Okay, which, hang on, I don't get the reference. Where?
Like in Dune or in Star Wars, like Tatooine is the name of the city in Tunisia or someplace like
kind
that.
of Orientalism stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, like, come on, like Dune, as phenomenal of a story as it is, a lot. And I mean, like, I think that then it's also too in the sense of like a bit of that. I know that there's like heavy criticism of that type of Orientalism like within this as well too. I think it's also just kind of funny and cute in the way how like they were just like Frank Hubert was like, really fascinated with the Middle East.
Yeah.
So one part of it comes from like in the 50s and 60s of like, if you were that dude, like, yeah, I mean, it's like, is it Orientalism? Sure. But it's like, he did a lot of fucking research into like the Quran and this and that and whatever. So it is kind of like, I get the critiques, but it's also like not like fucking like Lawrence of Arabia ass like writing and shit. George Lucas too is like, okay, yeah, all the Orientalism there. But it's
George
also
Lucas was just like ripping off every Japanese film he's
first off that, and then the underlying political critique of the first Star Wars movies is like, what if the Viet Cong was like, the Rebel Alliance and the Empire is the U.S. He just says that like in the interview.
Yeah,
so it's like, you know what?
Give him a
I'll
pass.
take not a pass. It's like, but I'll take it in the sense of like it's the era that it's in. Whatever. Would I rather have that?
Yeah.
Or the like James Cameron just like
It's goofy.
It's goofy. I don't know.
Goofy.
Both are like. Sci-fi.
Yeah.
You know?
We could also like also return with a V to like H.P. Lovecraft, where every like unspeakable monster he's describing is probably like an Italian he saw once.
Or like a Jew or something. Yeah. Bad. That's bad. Yeah.
That is bad.
I mean, yeah, we have to. I mean, Corner Späti is not your place for cultural reflections on the
H.P. Lovecraft though. You're on the list. Bad dudes.
Yeah, I mean, like that genuinely does get me uncomfortable when people are like, you can't do this or whatever. It's like, whatever. If you can like read it and acknowledge that this exists in it, it's not going to... Reading Dune or H.P. Lovecraft or whatever is not going to make you a racist. It could. I don't know.
I really do love the theory that, like, all of the H.P. Lovecraft books were just him, like, explicitly describing, like, ethnic white people he saw, and then the editor came in and being like, we're going to change this slur to Cthulhu, and we're going to change, we're just going to, like, the editor came in and changed them all to like mythical beasts or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Italians have superpowers.
Yep.
The bad
we
kind.
all know this.
Yeah. Hey. Welcome to your first Corner Späti of the year. Well, regular episode of the year, I guess, because I think we may have had a bonus come out that was pre-recorded.
No,
we didn't. Okay, boom.
Yep.
First one, 2023. We in it. This is our year.
Yeah, this is the year where everything happens for
Yeah.
us.
Who run it?
Yeah.
Corner Späti run it.
We're gonna get all the guests that we ever wanted. We're gonna get Rita Ora on to talk about Princess Switch 3. We're going to get Dua Lipa on to talk about that.
You actually had me convinced for 2 seconds. Like, oh, wait, what? We're going to do that?
We're going to get Dua Lipa on to talk about that book that was written last year free. We're not going to get the author on. We're just going to hey, what do you think of this, Dua Lipa?
That would be actually a great pod. I would listen to that.
Like Dua Lipa on.
That's what. All right, that's right. Fuck it. We're turning Corner Späti into whatever this is.
Yeah, okay, so actually the theme I had is we interview Albanian starlets.
I mean, I'm
okay,
down.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly. That's right up my alley. Yeah, I have a. In case you haven't heard in the cold open at the very beginning of this episode, I have a job this episode, which is letting Kieran's dog in and out of the apartment because she's being a bad little girl.
Yeah,
and she keeps wanting to go outside and then wanting to go back inside. So I am here on door duty to your balcony, making sure that she can get in and get out because she decides now. Oh, I think she wants to come right back in now.
Yeah, probably.
Oh my god.
So we did get acknowledgement of this cameo from my dog previously in the Cyberpunk episodes that came out because someone did comment immediately. It was like, "Oh, nice cameo from Kieran's dog." And I'm like, yeah, you can hear her on the recording. I'm sorry.
She loves whenever we podcast, and I appreciate it. So sixth mic is Nami, the dog.
Sixth mic. It's just the two of us today. But we have 3 other mics.
Yeah, we have just room mics going. We have actually people don't know this. When we say that we're in the studio, we're actually in like a multi-million-dollar
We're in the same place that Friends was shot.
Yeah.
We got a studio audience.
Yeah. Okay, you want to come in now? Oh my goodness. So you're gonna be hearing a lot of this back and forth of her scurrying in and out, making noises.
And she mostly comes in to yell at my other dog.
Yeah. Who's on the all right. Well, anyway. Oh my god. Okay, good job. Bye, Nami. Yeah, so 2023 has already kind of like catapulted us immediately into this is gonna be a very Berlin centric episode.
Ein Discourse.
Yeah, Ein Discourse
with a K.
Yeah. Ein Discourse with 3 Ks. Because
Ein Discourse.
Yeah. Because we've just kind of hopped into the new year with just the racism button just being pressed by multiple parties simultaneously.
Pedal to the fucking metal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. January 1st, that's a public holiday. Everyone takes a little breather.
Nope, not racism.
No. I feel like the Germans did respect the Freitag or whatever, and then it was January 2nd though. Vroom vroom. Here we go.
What about if we took that 1980s very weird movie Heavy Metal, and then the planet is just racism?
We blow up that planet. We blow that.
Can we do that? Yeah, can we? Yeah, that seems that it would solve a lot of things.
I'm in the Avatar mind space now, so I'm just like, that big company trying to blow up the planet was probably good. We should do that. Just racism planet.
Yeah, what they don't tell you is that Aldron was really racist. Yeah, what's up? I'm the equivalent of what's Bappin, but for the Empire.
Where you're like one of those Patsock people with the Russian flag and their username being like, actually Alderaan.
Actually Emperor Palpatine is the continuation of the Soviet Republic.
God damn it.
Alderaan is reactionary.
Yeah. Alderaan actually has some really problematic views on the Holocaust.
Don't ask Emperor Palpatine about his opinion on the Cossacks.
God damn it! I really. No, we're ignoring it. Sorry,
No, we're not. Yeah, we are. No,
No,
we're done.
fuck that
That's
shit.
it. Yeah, that's
It
all you're
sucks.
getting about Russia Ukraine from us is
For the entire year.
for the entire year is Z posters. But what if heavy metal meets Avatar meets Star Wars?
Yeah, but a Z poster.
Yeah,
Imagine if
exactly.
Star Wars did have Twitter, though. That would suck.
Imagine like Samira Khan in that like environment.
Okay, so do you know in the prequels where like Jar Jar becomes he becomes important in the Senate, right? He like becomes,
In the second episode.
So do you think there's like a J Hive who like it's a bunch of like white moms from Tatooine putting on, but like they put on Jar Jar voice when they tweet, and everyone's like, "This is kind of problematic. I don't like this."
Yeah, no, it exists.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever. I decide what exists in the Star Wars universe and what doesn't, and
Yeah.
that cuts it.
Nick works for a really problematic employer. He works for Disney, deciding the lore Bible for Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so for those who don't know, we're gonna bring it back to the topic at hand, which is Germany. On New Year's Eve or the week of New Year's in Berlin, it gets pretty wacky and wild with fireworks. For those who have been here, they kind of know it's kind of a shit show. Some
Good
people love
YouTube
it.
There's some good YouTube videos. You can see people driving around in Berlin New Year's and stuff. It's pretty chaotic. I think the difference being from a lot of other places is Germans really do love fireworks that just make a loud noise rather than like lights in the sky.
Explosions.
Yeah. And at certain points when it's really kicking off, I thought this year was actually quite mild compared to, I think, first one I remember being kind of crazy was like 2019 or 2020 even, because that was still before the pandemic really slowed it down.
Yeah.
But
Also, they had like partial like
they had lockdowns and stuff going.
not just lockdowns. I think it was also then too. They also wanted to kind of cut back on like fireworks too. Here, there's been like proposed like what's called a Böllerverbot, which
Right.
is specifically for like explosives.
Yeah.
So the fireworks that then don't go whoosh whoosh fun in the sky, but fireworks that just are
Bang.
that are pretty much just a shit ton of gunpowder.
Giant crackers, basically.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, they can probably blow out some windows.
Yeah, it's not great, but the other thing that does happen is just like on the really chaotic years. I remember, I think 2020, like my street, which is quite quiet, it's off a busy street, but still, is like just fills with smoke.
Yeah.
Like you can't see.
I had black shit coming out of my sinuses the day after.
Cool.
And I didn't go out on New Year's.
Yeah.
So it's just, I mean, like there is also an argument to be made about just like the amount of just like air pollution that it creates. Like I'm not in favor of like a complete like banning of fireworks. The thing though that happened this year that then really like, made this more extreme. If it was, I think you're right in the sense of I didn't really notice too much again, and I live in an area that also similar to you goes pretty crazy for New Year's, and I was fine, but apparently there was a big exchange between a bunch of people, police and firefighters and first responders that ended up in a big fireworks fight.
Yeah.
Which is like not great. But also, I feel that then it probably was like, I don't know the full story. It seems like it was very much instigated by the fact that the police have become much harder on particularly migrant areas, in quotes, of Berlin, who, this has become always the thing of like, oh, they're the ones who then cause all the chaos on New Year's, this and that and that. And I mean, there are like cultural things that then, of course, like exist within other cultures of, making a big, like, I mean, it is a thing that then it's like some cultures have fireworks is like a thing of being like putting away the past and then bringing into like there is like cultural like other cultures do this, and there is maybe like an argument to be made, not an argument but like a thing to be made of like, what other cultures do it this way, this and that and that. I think it's no problem if it's done in like this whatever safe manner.
I was talking to an Indian friend of mine who's like, this is his first year in Berlin, this was going to be his first year, and was kind of telling about it, and he's just like, I don't care. Like in India, it gets so much more
in
intense.
India, you bring fireworks to the movie theater when you go see a premiere of a movie and shit like that. Like, I mean, like our like Western attitudes towards, especially white German, hypersensitive, baby brained attitudes towards this is that then everyone who is like, oh, like big example is my personal friend Ulf Polshot,
Yeah.
who is mega no böllerverbot, like this is against freedom, this and that. Boom, day after he gets to be racist. Oh, maybe it's actually not the worst idea, you know. So
I have heard this described as just like the dumbest culture war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the thing of it, the matter too, is that then I mean, like, yeah, like you can point to like scores of hyper masculine white men who also love blowing shit up.
Yeah.
Myself being included in one of them because blowing shit up is cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't go to like. Olaf Polshart like brags about that he goes to Poland to buy illegal fireworks. Like this is, and I mean the thing is too is that then like if you look at the footage, because there's always packages and stuff that are filmed of Germans going across the border. It's always the whitest, you know, most Deutsch-looking Deutsch people who are going and spending like thousands of euros on like military grade explosives that they can like. This isn't a problem of race, and it's just being made into one, and it's really dumb. And the thing that then though is really kicked off because as you know, kind of simultaneously, the very next day of New Year's began the election process here in Berlin for the re-election campaigns, is that then now some of the parties have like, you know, like you said, pedal to the metal, you know, hitting all the racism buttons at once because this allowed them to do the thing of like, oh yeah, we can then use this as a catalyst to then push our pretty far right wing plans for Berlin.
So before January, the argument, as I kind of understood it, was, or like the discourse as I kind of understood it, was like between, it was kind of like the stereotypes of the two sides of this debate was like no crack students from Hamburg who would just be like complete like finger wagging, we don't need to do fireworks. Probably people also suggesting we do drones instead, which I fucking hate that.
Oh, boo.
And like that's the stereotype, complete no fun. And then it would be like your weird uncle who has a suburban house who would be like, we should do fireworks all the time. And then
every day is a celebration in this house.
Every day. And then after December, 30th up until like January 1st, the people of Brandenburg celebrate the sound of a Porsche 911 tearing through their village, like, as fucking Ulf Polshart races to grab fireworks from Poland.
Help! I've wrapped my Porsche 911 around the lone telephone pole.
Yeah, it's me again. It's Ulf. I crashed over my Porsche 11s into the Oder again. It's off the bridge into one of the most toxic rivers now. But like it is kind of like, I don't think it's like the kind of people that Ulf is, but it's definitely the type of people who would read Ulf's articles.
Oh, 100%.
Who were really into like fireworks, no restrictions, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, brown people fireworks. Oh, maybe I...
This is when January 2nd kind of comes in and it's just suddenly like, maybe, I get to be like, there's a genuine like conflict here of just like, I get to be racist and ban fireworks? Like,
and to kind of prove the point that we're not making this up, the most wild thing was from, I forget the guy's name, nor do I care to, I'm not going to give him any attention because do not go and
CDU guy, was it?
Yeah, member of the Berlin CDU who just used the thing of like, oh, there's a certain genetic phenotype of people who like do this. And it's like, bro, like, you're literally a member of a Nazi continuation party.
I got to learn the German word for phenotype.
which is phenotype.
Yeah.
And I had to double check, like double glance at and be like, wait, shit, like did he use that word? Because it was like, I mean, that is fucking, pull out the fucking calipers. Let's go, baby. And I'm very afraid of like, I know that we said we weren't going to talk anything about Ukraine. The only thing I want to say about Ukraine is I think that then that the Overton window of Germany, because of it's been pushed a lot further right in terms of like foreign policy stuff, but also in terms of like societal things that this country then is kind of like piggybacking on of like this greater Europa shit as well.
Yeah.
And the Greens do it a little bit because they use the bullshit liberal humanitarian voicings of like, oh, like we're the civilized Europe. This like, fucking Joseph Borrell does this all the time where he'll like stumble. Like Joseph Borrell, who's like a social democrat in quotes.
Yeah, he's PSOE.
Yeah, but we'll use like, return vocabulary when talking about
the jungle and the garden
exactly.
Stuff, yeah. And the guy who wrote that like book is not PSOE.
No, he is very much a racist. And so I think it's the sense too that then we're seeing as well that the CDU is kind of like, the AFD did not gain any traction during COVID.
They bungled that massively. They didn't know how to handle it. Really.
Yeah, and then they did decently in elections in, where the fuck was it recently?
Oh, was it Turingen?
No, it was Niedersachsen, wasn't it?
Niedersachsen, yes.
Yeah, and so there was like this thing that they were always kind of doing ish well there, because it is like there are some post-industrial parts of that state as well, and it kind of changed the perspective of that. Then
they did all right in that last NRV election as well, which was May last year.
But Yulia's been saying this for how many years?
Yeah.
Keep an eye on the NRV AFD, because like they have a lot of support that doesn't get reported on. And actually the AFD's like per capita, I think quite popular, just as popular there as they are in the evil East and whatnot. So it's like it's a weird kind of thing that I think that we're seeing now. The CDU just realized, like, okay, now we can then kind of try to get those votes.
So yeah, this is for me the big consequence of this, or like what kind of sets this all off, or like what this is a reverberation of, is the fact that Merkel's gone.
Yep, exactly.
And like the CDU had this. We talked about it a lot around the election. The big Berlin one, or not Berlin, sorry, Germany one.
The federal election.
Exactly. About like the CDU having this kind of like moment of crisis where they didn't really know what their identity was. And to take a step further back about like, we've talked about like our very first episodes, the origins of the AFD and stuff like that. But the AFD thought is not new to this country. It does not begin in 2013 or whatever they started. It was always contained within the CDU. And it's just kind of like reasserting itself now, or is being seen as more of a... I guess like I don't want to imply that everyone in the CDU is actually genuinely ideological. I think a lot of them are just cynical and like view...
It's just cynical, typical conservatism that you see of people who are like relatively well off in a Western country.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are deciding that Werteunion is probably the better road to go down than trying to find Merkel too.
Yeah, exactly. And oh my God, what is she whining about now?
That's him. This is the boy dog. You keep talking.
Oh, the boy's whining. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the thing that I also kind of find interesting with the AFD as well is that then their origins as being this like hilariously pro-market, very libertarian party that then just like divulged into fascism. That wing of the party doesn't even exist anymore. They've all either funneled into like some offshoot like dumb party, like what the hell was that one of like the liberal conservative Democrats or some shit?
Oh Jesus, I couldn't tell you.
They were in the last Bundestag.
Yes, yeah. I remember this. And they had like a gross kind of orange color.
Yeah. Well, that, I mean, like now the FDP has just kind of realized that they can offer exactly that too, with a little bit of like the tinge of racism as well.
Yeah, so like they're kind of all going in different directions to a certain extent, and then like it's just this weird thing of like, what does the future look like for this party that was meant to be like everything right wing goes into this party, like CDU, I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
When you now have the AFD existing is one part. But to be honest, if I was like someone who was right wing in this country, I would probably be more in favor of trying to hijack the CDU than going into AFD. And then also
you also have just a much easier chance of like actually governing. And I mean, I think it's very clear in the sense too that then like it's been a very calculated effort with Friedrich Merz as the head of this party nationally, and that then the head of the party then in Berlin, or at least like Kai Wegner, who's the head of the party there, is much more on the side of like, oh well, I'm just a guy who's good for Berlin business. So they can like, I mean, like the CDU is diverse enough where you can kind of have the like, oh, we have the Werte Union far right hardliners in our
Yeah.
party. We also have the guys who can then do like the Kai Wegner thing of just like I just love a good, you know, capitalism where the state of Germany is propping up all these companies that probably
Yeah.
should fail.
Like it's Rob's joke of just like I hope everyone just has a good game kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little bit of that. I'm pretty sure Kai Wegner is in the Einstein-Kreis, that like little collection of CDU politicians who are like, I think what's their main point of opposition? I can't quite remember. But
Right now, his main point of opposition is Deutsche Wohnen enteignen. That's
Yeah,
his main
sure.
thing.
Yeah,
And the thing
yeah.
that's very funny is that then I think that then the FDP right now is trying to show on the local level that, because remember DVE or Deutsche Wohnen enteignen, the expropriation campaign won by 59%.
Yeah.
59.2, 59.3, something like that.
yeah.
Overwhelmingly, you know,
Really
positive.
good. Like the best referendum in the city has ever gone,
Yeah.
as far as I know.
And so that's on the election. That has to be voted on once more again. And the thing that's very funny is that then the FDP and the CDU have just immediately like kind of, you know, made a coalition of like we are both the anti-Enteignung parties, because and the thing that's really funny about it is that then from a purely economic standpoint, if you actually understand anything about economics that's more than just, you know, supply and demand, which isn't
Yeah.
real, expropriation of properties and putting them into the hands of the state and getting rid of these massive corporate landlords like Deutsche Wohnen and like Heimstatt and Akelius and all that is good for the rental market. Even if you like even if you're a landlord, you know, and I'm not, this is me not saying being in any way pro landlord, but there's even an argument for if you're pro capitalist of getting rid of people and things that then are speculating on real estate prices, because then you're creating an unrealistic market
Yeah.
of prices, which is then price gouging, and it's you know, it's in itself a type of market failure.
Yeah.
It's not monopoly, you know, but it is the sense that you have something. First off, that Deutsche Wohnen literally was made by the German state to buy up real estate properties.
Yeah.
You know, is hilariously German in that regard, and that then that they just sit on these properties and speculate and don't really like they create horrible living situations for people charging too much money. It's like that is a massive market failure,
Yeah.
even as a psycho. You know, like all right. Libertarians don't exist. They aren't. They're either fascists or they're people who just don't realize how the economy works.
Yeah.
But anyone who is at least even like a pro-capitalist person would be like, oh yeah, getting rid of these absolute fucking sharks makes sense in a capitalist economy.
Yeah,
you know, because then you have the opportunity of people being able to then to afford an apartment on your, you know, mystical, magical, you know, housing market thing. But the hilarity that I find with the CDU and the FDP is that they're weirdly just like the truest German capitalists, where they're like, no, like all like you know how like libertarians in the US do this thing where they're like, oh no, I like capitalism, not crony capitalism. At least the CDU and the FDP are like, no, it's all the same. I like it.
Yeah,
like every
yeah.
version of capitalism is good. I don't really give a shit. As fucked up and corrupt it is, like, baby, that's how our party exists, you know, like more of that. And at least there's like a bit of like when you kind of scratch the surface of it, you just kind of realize, well, all right, you know what, they're at least like consistent in just being pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And there's not really anything like realistic about this. It's pure like demagoguery for the sake of, you know, sucking capital's dick. And
Yeah.
that's what Germany loves. Germany, remember, is an incredibly wealthy country with the largest you know, wealth disparity in any European country, in any country that is not the United States.
Yeah.
You know, so it would make perfect sense that then there's a party that just acknowledges, or two parties that just acknowledge like, oh yeah, like we want that, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Like all of our secret shadowy, you know, like billionaires that no one knows their names of, who all, you know, are secret for reasons because their families all helped the Holocaust happen.
Yeah.
They give us money, and Germany's even funnier too, because the way that system is it's not even like a how the U.S. has like limits to it.
Yeah.
As long as you declare that you're giving, like I could give, you know, Christian, if I'm like, let's say I'm BMW,
Yeah.
I could give him a check to him for $5 million, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like as long as I declared over $10,000, it doesn't fucking matter, right?
Yeah.
You know, so Germany is at least like hilariously like more open. It's just pure corruption of capital, and you have these two parties that then only can thrive because of that. And Germany's so wealthy that then that you see it in the media, you see it like Germany's so right wing, you know, that even like sensible arguments towards things like like anything that all right, the fact that we're now a week-long thing about like the racism button being hit, that we're having to talk about this is because German media is like, oh, maybe we should measure skulls, you know, or maybe, you know, like maybe we should give all the power to, you know, Deutsche Wohnen, like those or like, you know, I mean, you have a major media sector that then is controlled by one dude who has so much, which is Matthias Döpfner, the head of Axel Springer, who now also owns Politico, which, you know, bonus episode coming for that next. And it allows for this very like I find it so funny because Germans are always like, oh, the U.S. haha, so funny and right wing and conservative. It's like you live in a weirdly more perverted version of that. Like there is like you have all the corporate media and even like ARD, like the public broadcaster entertains the skull measuring and the shit like that.
The German like the German stuff gets weird and gets different because one, I think an important distinction is we do have like FDP and CDU as separate parties, whereas like in the US that has to fall under one umbrella, and one of the big differences between those two parties for some of their members, it sounds like Kai Wegner is not one of them, but like FDP has always been into like financialized capital, rent seeking bullshit as a means of making money, whereas the CDU I think has been a bit more historically on the side of like giant manufacturing capital,
liberal conservatism.
Yeah, but like even just the thing of like we make money from companies that actually make stuff. Yeah, that like you can explain in a sentence. Volkswagen makes cars. Aldi like provides you food. Shit like that.
Siemens makes everything electronic.
He makes everything.
Yeah. And I mean, like it allows the sense of this. And I mean, for anyone who's going to be a dipshit and say that liberal conservatism is not a thing, read a book. First off, it's very all right. First off, you're probably American. I'm sorry. Second off, you either like I'm not gonna name drop. But yeah, I mean, it is very much the German state kind of chugged along in the sense of like, what if we have the traditional things of like conservatism in like the older sense of like, you know, oh, maybe the market shouldn't be like into everything. We should have like state control, but it should benefit us economically. Yeah. And we'll still have a, you know, like there'll be state market interventions, but at the end of the day, we're still benefiting capitalists. You know, and we'll provide some of the things of like, you know, basic social safety net stuff, but don't get too fucking crazy with it. All right.
The CDU, like to contrast with like this kind of character in America, for example, or even the UK, the CDU builds trains. They build train tracks, but for the purposes of like that's how you move the cars around.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like
Trump is a really good example actually of this sometimes in the U.S. because he does. People stupidly call this like fascism and shit like that because like, oh, the state intervention with racism and this and that. That's like that's Europe, baby. Yeah. Like that's how.
Some people also call that fascism, and I was like,
yeah, and I mean, like if you have a secret third way, I mean, yeah, that might be. I mean, you could be a
secret third thing.
Yeah, secret third thing. You know, there is an argument to be made that secret third thing in the 30s was actually fascism.
Yeah, like the Italians in the 30s. Yeah. Like, it's either communism, liberalism, or a secret third thing.
But, and I think it's just kind of funny that then that secret third thing is still managed to kind of like maintain it. Like, because remember, like Nazism and like, I'm not saying that, okay, like the racism part is what the problem then of the CDU. Not everything of the CDU is Nazism, even though, yes, there is a lot of Nazi continuation shit in their party.
Oh, sure.
But the sense of state market relations of Nazi Germany and the kind of continuation with that into West Germany isn't like unique to Nazism.
No.
You know, I mean, like Nazism was just the thing that then became very apparent was in the state benefiting the market or benefiting big German companies on the backs of slave labor and extermination and Holocaust, you know, this and that. And
that. So like I think
that's always been in Germany though too, you know.
So there's a really interesting thing. I'm going to go on a weird tangent here, but like with American like late night political talk shows, those like
Stephen Colbert and shit like that.
Yeah, and Trevor Noah and things like all that kind of stuff would always make like the kind of like appeal to conservatives when trying to push an issue, usually on like economic grounds. The only person I remember ever seeing breaking with this was John Oliver, who does the HBO one. And he kind of like he did this whole like the economic benefit of letting migrants in, and then he just said, well, like that shouldn't fucking matter. They're still people. Fuck you. And like that's very good. But for Americans to understand, the conservatives in Germany and a lot of other European countries, especially the Christian democracy quote unquote ones, are the ones who actually took those arguments on board. Of like, yes, it is economically beneficial to build the roads, to build the trains. And I'm still going to be the one who reaps the benefits of it.
Yeah.
But like, it's very hard to the economic argument for building trains so you can move your cars around just appeals to them more than the economic argument for like, please don't be mean to homosexuals and refugees and migrants. And also, while we're being honest here, because we need to remind people of like the quote unquote wider view of racism in Germany, a lot of these people are German, born and raised, hold German passports. They just are of Turkish descent. Like,
yeah, they don't have German names.
Yeah, exactly. This is the. I think we probably mentioned in the podcast. We're going to remind people again, for people who are not familiar with Germany. If you are black in Germany, if you are your family has been here since like the 1800s or whatever, but if you still appear black, you will still get called Auslander on the street.
Yeah,
the assumption will always be you are a foreigner.
Yeah, and that was the thing too that then
even when you speak perfect German.
Yeah.
To them.
And I think that was something that I had the discussion with a few friends with during the World Cup of like, kind of going back now to last month or whatever, because we haven't really talked or had really. I think that was actually our last episode that we recorded, where we talked briefly about the World Cup.
Yeah.
Is that? No, it was the Reichsbürger one.
Yes,
I remember now.
Yeah.
But the thing with that I always find that then's like, I do like seeing a team like Germany or France play. Yes, I know the historical context of both of these countries.
Sure.
And I'll be the first person to say, yes, while I recognize it, I also just like want to see good football, and these people are phenomenal players. So like I'm going to remove also the politics from it, but I also understand where it comes from, this and that and that. And I do find it incredibly impressive that especially these two countries with their very racist pasts have like an embrace of players who do not look German or look for whatever that fucking means, It's like they are. I think that there is something that then's at least nice of seeing. Yes, sports, whatever they did. I mean, sports are political, this and that and that. It is nice to then see that in some countries like Germany and France actually does kind of like possibly push the Overton window of that discussion of like, what does it mean to be French? What does it mean to be German? Because I mean, like, I don't know if you watched the World Cup final or not, but Kylian Mbappe, like an African, like from African descent, French player, kid. He's 22, 23 years old.
Well, they all are, aren't they?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'll say it, had a far more phenomenal game than Messi did, even though the Argentina won.
Yeah.
And is destined, I mean, he won a World Cup when he was 19.
Yeah.
And he got MVP. It's like, the fact that then that, and also, I mean, as much as I fucking hate Macron, the fact that then that Macron also can like use this to his extent of being like, oh, see, this is what being French is. It's like, Macron can do the racism and then also then do the not racism thing too. It's like liberalism is so malleable in that sense. Yeah. But at least maybe in this, like the thing that was also really funny too is that then a lot of people were pointing out that contradiction of Macron as well on like French Twitter and shit like that, and how, that there is at least a discussion being brought up along the lines of that then people like Mbappe are just as French as, someone named like Florian or whatever.
Jean-Pierre.
Or like Jean-Pierre.
Jean-Pierre Dubatard.
Yeah, exactly. And in Germany too, that then like why, like players, of all backgrounds, the funniest one obviously of recent was Antonio Rüdiger during the last Euro Cup, where they asked Alexander Gauland who his favorite player was, and he said Rüdiger because it had a good German name. Well, it turns out Antonio Rüdiger is a black dude. So, yeah, I mean, it's just like it. I mean, like it really is. Like it is interesting seeing this change in every other regard, but then actual like on the ground policy in cities in Germany, And the thing that's very funny is that then Markus Söder, the minister president of Bavaria, came out on his like horse, like on his big magical fucking white horse, out being like, oh yeah, Berlin has a problem, like this and that and that.
We always have a problem,
and it's like. But then people started bringing up the statistics of crime at Oktoberfest,
Yes.
And it's like, dude,
Pure
Oktoberfest.
chaos.
Oktoberfest is like, what if New Year's happened 5 times fold every single day for 3 weeks in
Yeah.
Munich?
In broad daylight.
In broad daylight, with also then massive amounts of like sexual assault and abuse
God,
happening
yeah,
and shit
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, to the point that they finally have like set up like checkpoints for women and whatnot. Like Oktoberfest is far worse than anything that could happen in Berlin.
Yeah.
You know, it's an absolute shit show. It's mostly, you know, drunk men going around being absolute pieces of shit, and it never gets any attention because it's mostly, you know, white German dudes being freaks. You know, there was a terrorist attack at Oktoberfest one year that everyone forgets about.
Yeah.
All right, so it's like, you know, the conversation is just, again, all, you know, it's the orb where Trump and what was it? Who was it? It wasn't Mohammed bin Salman, was it?
No, it was his dad. It was King.
King Solomon.
Yeah, was it Solomon?
Yeah.
Okay.
King Solomon, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
No, King Solomon is the
Is the biblical figure who put the
No,
baby.
his name is King Solomon. I believe it is. Anyway, him
No,
with
you
Trump
keep
on the
talking.
orb. The orb is racism, and every other person is King whatever bin Salman. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Shit. Salman.
Yeah.
So not Solomon, but
King Salman.
Mohammed bin Salman. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Salman.
Yeah, he's the king, but then whatever. The son MBS is
because bin Salman is of Salman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. But
All
his
right.
dad or whatever is the
This is a European podcast. I don't know
exactly
how
whatever.
Saudi
The
Arabia
orb,
works.
but the orb is racism.
Yeah.
And the orb is like, you know, the major German political parties touching the orb.
Yeah. Another part of this also feels like so I did mention the whole like Merkel's gone thing, and that's fair. But another part of it is the success.
Why does whenever you say Merkel's gone makes me think of that American Dad thing where he's like, the daddy's gone and he's not coming home.
He's not. She's not.
No, she isn't. She has disappeared from the limelight.
Yeah, and due to like, other stuff, like people are now turning on her and things like that. So, not for any of the correct reasons, I think, but still, the other thing though is that the SPD has become the successor of Merkelism. So like the CDU has effectively CSU have already effectively surrendered that ground to the SPD. And this is kind of also what they're left with to try and rally anyone.
We have to also remember that the SPD is very much guilty of this as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Because especially in Berlin, you have figures like Thilo Sarrazin, who is the precursor of Franziska Giffey, the current mayor of Berlin, who Franziska Giffey is from the right wing of her party, who then she and him always, I mean, he wrote a book saying that there's like a parallel society in like Neukölln.
Yeah.
And they have all this because the reality of it is that they just don't want to actually like they don't want to actually like see what's actually going on in like what the actual problems are of Neukölln are obviously socioeconomic ones. Yeah. And if you, I mean, the easiest thing is just to blame it on racism. And, oh yeah, they just can't behave in Germany, this and that and that. Yeah. It's like, you know what, like, and Giffey is from, remember, Giffey is the one who wants to put more police everywhere. She wants to put the watchtower, the panopticon at Kopassator, which is the dumbest and most violent response that you can have to people who are mostly nonviolent criminals, like just doing heroin, who need help. They don't need the police to come and beat the shit out of them. Yeah. And I don't know. Like, I mean, I think that Berlin's getting worse because Berlin's scenario is the solution from the SPD and the CDU and the FDP is more police everywhere. Yeah. Instead of like actually funding things. And any idiot who's like, oh, Berlin has no money. Germany is the wealthiest country in Europe. You can find the fucking money.
Yeah, but like this, this is the point of Germany.
$100 billion is going to the German military. Like suck my dick.
Yeah. I mean, like. But this is the point of Berlin in general, is that we are Germany's austerity punching bag, because it's like typical, like Marcus Söder saying, oh, like Berlin has a problem, and my response being like, we always, according to these people, we always have a problem of some sort. Like Berlin doesn't work, Berlin doesn't pay any money, and then like everything they try in build in Berlin, classically the airport, but now also recently,
PPP Central.
Yeah, but also recently was the a smaller scale version of this. I'm not sure if you heard the whole.
A smaller airport.
A smaller airport for toy planes. No, it was trying to make the plans for a swimmable version of the Spree. This has been planned for ages, that they were going to cordon off a part of the Spree that would be safe to swim in. And people were very excited, blah blah blah. Shouldn't cost a lot of money.
I am so anxious and nervous of that sentence that you just said. A swimmable no.
Yeah.
Everything I hate open bodies of water.
Yeah.
The Spree is disgusting. No.
Yeah.
No.
So this was the thing.
Oh God, this is disgusting.
This is the thing. Like, it's already kind of like it was meant to be done, I think, this year now, 2023, like late this year, and ready kind of for like spring, summer 2024. But they already spent like $9 million on it, and nothing has been done. And because that happened, they're like now kind of like scuttering the whole project, as far as I understand. And people are just like, where the fuck did that $9 million go? This is turning the Spree, an already existing body of water, not even all of it, just a part of it, in a place that you could swim. That's like setting up some kind of like filter walls kind of thing that stop like debris from getting into parts of it and things like that.
I mean, it's like, and then have like a filtration thing, whatever. Yeah.
Like it shouldn't be this much hassle, and yet it is, and we're not getting it. And this will then be used as a further example of like how we can't have anything.
Yeah, and I mean another perfect example of this too is that area that then I was just there last night. Embarrassing myself at the indoor skate park at Skate Hada. Yeah, you want to feel really bad about yourself?
No.
Go there. Oh my God. Like, no, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. It's sick to see people like really good at something.
Yeah.
Especially when you are not very good at something, and you used to be like decent at something. Definitely. No, I mean, I actually had a lot of fun, but it's always really horrible. Warschauer Straße always sucked as an area for different reasons.
Sure.
And now it sucks even more because it's like weirdly this like desert of like these skyscrapers that are completely empty.
Oh, like just beyond Warschauer Straße.
The like Amazon building that then is being built there.
Yeah.
And then all that area around like the Mercedes-Benz arena and whatnot is completely lifeless.
Near the East Side Gallery, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And so you have like this kind of thing of that then Berlin is trying so hard to be like, we want to attract new capital, and they have all these really stupid projects that then are just absolute wastes of money. And my prediction always for that is in 5 years that whole area has to get like knocked down and they have to fucking find something new to do with it because they have lost so much money in it. Or like EAW Gelände, which is then apparently being turned into something else.
Sure.
And that something else possibly could be the developer just giving it to his son. And then just like letting the son do whatever he wants, which is like one of the possibilities. So it's like Berlin's like the desperate nature of Berlin being run by very conservative governments, mind you, particularly Giffey's SPD right now, of having it be PPP central and having these projects just suck the life out of anything that then's remotely interesting.
Take what money we do have and then have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, and then then when discussions of like how to make the city better, well, make the public transit cheaper, more, better, and like make living costs easier, especially rent and stuff like that. These things that are very doable.
Yeah.
As we've seen now, COVID showed us that the €29 ticket not only is really successful, it economically makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and it's very popular and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Also, because I have this in my brain, other dumb Berlin projects where they have been turned out to be massive wastes of money is that they're currently building a modern art museum that is like only at the planning, like basically at the planning stage, like the plans have been finalized, whatever, we're just going to build it now kind of thing. It's been, and you can get the posters of the renderings and stuff of what it's going to look like. This is out near Potsdamer Platz, is where it's going to be.
Oh, good, great.
Yeah, I mean, like we need to put something there for people to go there. Like modern art museum, sure, fuck it.
It's like the perfect example of just like a void in the city.
I mean, yeah, but that is what Markus Söder would turn all of Berlin into, is one big Potsdamer Platz.
Oh my God.
And then
Comrade G when
but then so the thing that's going on with the modern art museum is it's been routinely dubbed the cow shed, like whatever the German for that is, because that's kind of what it looks like, and that's fine or whatever, but it is this big open kind of like semicircle of the building, like all it's like one big room inside.
Full of bad bitches?
Fortunately, no.
Oh, damn it.
In full of like climate change accelerant, because everyone's now realized how much it's going to cost to heat and cool that building.
Hell yeah.
And it's going to be like
Germany also the black dog of anything climate related, because they're like, oh yeah, we're good at this, and it's like you scratch the surface and it's just like a lignite coal mine.
I do not with the pool, with the Spree, with the fucking cowshed, with the Berlin airport. What the fuck is going on with like the thing that Germany is meant to be good at, with like engineers and architects and stuff?
Lies. Deception.
Yeah, exactly. I guess
Yeah.
it is.
None of it was ever true. The British had to lie to themselves of why it took them so fucking long to like get into Europe.
Yeah.
That's where all that fucking comes from. It wasn't the Germans like, remember, all right, I talked about this in a Nerd at World War II episode with Uma.
Yeah.
Germany had the brilliant idea in World War II of just switching their assault rifle, like with a new caliber when they were like losing in the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
You know,
it seems like the time to do that.
Yeah. Never a smart country. Absolute fucking dum-dums.
Well, like all the Wunderwaffen and all the things.
Yeah, bullshit.
None of
Yeah.
the things that worked. Yeah.
I mean, the thing that then like Ancient Aliens loves talking about, like the like Glocken thing, that then it's like there were plans
Yeah, like
from the Nazis
all
to build
those
like a UFO.
all those History Channel shows about like the crazy big weapons that like Nazi Germany supposedly had, and it's like, yeah, it would be kind of cool if those worked. They didn't though, and you're not mentioning.
Yeah,
that.
or the wonder of like the like Messerschmitt jet plane. It's like it didn't work though. It flew like once or twice, and they're like, we cannot mass produce this.
Yeah.
But yeah. Which brilliantly you would do that right when you're losing a war as well. Yeah. The Messerschmitt was then first put into service in like 1944 or something.
We got this.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, the thing is that Germany as a whole lies to you about this. And the thing, I mean, like the thing about the innovation and the PPPs and whatnot is that the things, especially in Berlin, that make it the most vibrant and the most fun and the most enjoyable is when it's like there is like genuine community involvement within, you know, like you have good neighborhoods here, like not good like, oh, the school district, but I mean like, you know, you and I live in neighborhoods that are quite diverse. I would feel that they're not any more dangerous than other parts of Berlin and whatnot. No. I feel like there is a genuine sense of like community amongst, like, especially if you have lived in a neighborhood for a really long time. Like Yulia's neighborhood, Yulia knows everyone.
But this has always been the thing with like Berlin and like people's interpretations of it. So like the people in charge of Germany, people in government, blah, 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 and stuff are still always predominantly German. Like white German, they're still predominantly people, due to the size of the city, not from Berlin. There are more people outside of Berlin than within it, in all of Germany and stuff like that. And these are people who get like really freaked out. Like I want to like specifically about Gorley, where the fucking panopticon was going to go. Gorley can be a bit of a shock for people who are.
And I mean, Kochi's where the panopticon's going.
Oh right. But it's.
Görlitzer was going to have like a Polizeiwache, like a smaller one, but they still have police. They have police that patrol it all the time. Yeah. But Görlitzer Park has changed it.
Yeah.
Where now there are people in vests who are not cops and they're not the Ordnungsamt, who are just like normal dudes who just kind of like make sure that like they can't arrest you, they can't do anything. Yeah. They just are kind of like they go around on bikes and just kind of see if like everything's okay.
But I'm specifically thinking of the like
and they diffuse situations a lot better.
Nice. But I am thinking of the U-Bahnhof station in particular, like Gorley actual like train station.
Oh yeah.
And like that's the thing that can shock a lot of people. Of like there are just a lot of guys there who will just be like, "Hey, do you want drugs?" And then there's like people in Berlin who just kind of think that's normal or fine. And then there's the people who like get scared shitless that what happens is you say no and they're like, "Cool," and they walk away. Like nothing bad happens in the situation. Yeah. It's just like. But like that,
I got beat up because I told a drug dealer no, I didn't want his drugs. Like, no.
But like this is going to freak out someone who like is from a city in Germany where all of it is Potsdamer Platz, and yeah, like I mean that's a lot. That's West Germany. Like that's what their cities are like. It's just Potsdamer Platz forever.
Everyone also just forgets that Frankfurt is way worse of a city than Berlin.
Of course,
in like every regard in terms of like crime. Organized criminality, all that type of shit. Like Frankfurt is an armpit.
Yeah.
And a horrible city.
Why would you be an organized crime in Berlin? There's no money to be made. Frankfurt, you do like an old like 50s style bank robbery of the ECP. You come in like, give it all the money in the sack.
Yeah, no. I mean I've only been to Frankfurt like twice, and I hate it because Frankfurt is weirdly the most like US feeling city in the sense that it feels actually dangerous.
Yeah. It also has like those like I did go to Frankfurt, like I was going through on train and stuff, and I was just sending my wife pictures of just like there's skyscrapers here. That's weird.
It's horrible.
Like, the buildings are strange. But yeah. Do we want to talk about one character of the selection? I feel like it's going to be more of a character, which is Sebastian.
Saja. You mean the guy who's completely given up his own identity to then become just a diet Christian Lindner? Yes.
That is what you have to do. Okay, so this is for anyone who doesn't know, Sebastian. Is it Cha? Is it like the CZ in Czech? Like Cha? Like Chaza? Chaya?
Chaya, yeah.
Chaya.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to say Chaya. This is a classic tradition of Berlin elections of there being a lead candidate where no one knows how to pronounce their name. Because that was we spent like a better part of 2021 trying to figure out how to pronounce Giffey.
Yeah, I know. We're not going to... Do not become Bürgermeister.
No, do not. No one will respect your name.
I'll just call you Seb.
Yeah. Seb, yeah. He's the head of Berlin's... FDP,
yeah.
And like a lot of people relatively senior in the FDP, it is just becoming Christian Lindner again, or trying to, or hoping like that you get to throw your face as much like everywhere as much as Christian Lindner does. And this time he will, because this is a Berlin election that's not coinciding with a federal election.
Yeah.
So there's more, real estate for Sebastian's face.
He loves real estate, doesn't he?
Oh, he does. Because if CDU is horny for fucking Deutsche Wohnen und Contiden and like destroying that, then you better believe FDP is mad horny for it. And like, yeah, all his posters are just like one of the ones that is like, Berlin is beautiful. We need to build more.
Oh my God, that one drove me up the fucking wall. I saw that the other day.
Yeah,
and it was like, I live just on the other side of like Moabit, at the lower part of Wedding.
Yeah.
So if you leave that area and you're going towards Moabit Mitte, it is a horizon of cranes and building projects that are nothing. Like that entire like Europa City thing should be like just hit with a missile.
Start over. You
just start it all over. It's
Command Z.
It's so bad.
Yeah. And like my neighborhood has also been like massively under construction and stuff's being built and things like that. None
of which are housing, by the way. Remember?
Oh God,
last what was it? Last year they did like a thing of like how much housing has Berlin made, and it was not even one single thing.
Like I mean, like this is also like okay. There's a million other podcast episodes about this. We'll probably do another one again, probably with Thomas or something. But I just like the whole like build more argument is complete distraction and should not be entertained by anyone with half a brain. But the Sebastian has waded into the racism fireworks debate, and he has claimed that FDP has hired an expert.
Who did they get?
I actually have forgotten his name. Do you remember his name?
Isn't it Ahmad Mansour?
That's it, yeah.
The guy's an absolute... All right, so the thing is that then Germany is brilliant where they have... they've developed slowly... similar to, say, like the U.S. and stuff like that, a pundit class. But Germany, unlike the United States, or maybe like the United States, has found the stupidest people on earth to then become this part of this pundit class. And one of these guys has been, the way that you become a German pundit by being a POC is that you tell white people that they're always right.
Yeah.
And so Ahmad Mansour is really funny because one of his issues that he's the biggest on is that then he loves Israel and thinks that Germany's position on Israel is perfect. He himself is, I believe, of some sort of Arab descent.
Yeah.
and is
It's this whole thing's very tokenistic.
yeah. So it's kind of like Cem Özdemir as well, where he's like, see, I'm the good migrant because I hate migrants and I hate brown people.
Yeah.
And so Ahmad Mansour has kind of come onto this thing of anything that then allows him to be the token, POC who's pro white people. He and what's his name? His at's only Dan's 55.
Oh yeah. I don't know him in real life, but
I don't know. But
he's a great
poster,
great reply guy.
Yeah, great poster. Continuously gets in fights with him, or at least points out just the stupidity of how. Also, Ahmad Mansour, a man who I don't like, I barely think can probably tie his own shoes properly, will just decide that he's an expert on something like that week.
So this got introduced. Sebastian Chaya did kind of like he brought up this. He introduced the FTP had gotten this expert with Vorher mich, dass Ahmed Mansour uns als
do it in English. I don't even know what you're saying.
That's fine. I'm pleased. I'm pleased that Ahmad Mansour supports us as an expert for a new promise of, and I hate this. So I hate the term integration, right? Because it's a fucked term. But then this one really takes the cake of advancement and integration.
Hell yeah, baby. What the fuck does that mean?
Not only are you not German enough, but you're also just generally backwards.
Yeah, you're just underdeveloped, just as an entire.
We need to hit that upgrade button on people of color, I guess. But Jesus Christ, it is like fucked up. And then later, in a particular gaffe that happened basically the same day, Ahmad Mansour basically made the claim that the phrase ACAB
I forgot about this.
that the phrase ACAB is racist
against police officers,
against cops.
Yeah, damn. You know what? I'm a racist, dog.
Yeah, like, POC, people of cop.
Yeah, people of cop. Yeah, I see. Actually, to be very fair, yeah, I do see a police officer, and I'm just filled with rage. So
yeah, but like particularly his reply was all very like chin waggly. Ooh, I've got you now, liberal. Of like. This, because the person who's wearing the ACAB t-shirt was going on like an anti-racist spiel about like all of this discussion, everything we've been talking about, the fireworks, the racism behind it, all that kind of stuff. I didn't get a chance to like engage in their point exactly. I'm sure it was right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even bother.
But
with
this. he was responding, being like, "Isn't it ironic that you're like going on an anti-racist rant while wearing a racist t-shirt?" That says,
dude, he's just the German Vosh.
I know there's
no, he is.
I'm with you, but I need to take it further. I feel like he's more.
No, he's more like openly right wing.
Yeah,
but it's the mentality of that. Then like
contrarianism. Yeah, like a little bit.
Like Vosh will do anything to then be. I mean, the little that then I've interacted in that whole verse because it is the dumbest quote unquote leftism that
he kind of like his arguments kind of remind me of who's that right wing pundit in the US, like very kind of like online pundit that is gay, and like Ben Shapiro said that he like he wouldn't feel comfortable if his kids were like to his kids to come to his graduation party.
Oh yeah, the libertarian guy, not
education party.
Not what's his name? It's not Milo, of course.
No,
it's the one who is like he used to be like a liberal and then
he has like a million why I left the left kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
Shit.
He's like a quote unquote libertarian guy.
Yeah.
I don't care. He's become completely irrelevant.
He has, but like
Ahmad
Mansour's arguments do kind of like remind me of him. Yeah.
They're all the same thing. I mean, Vosh is similar in that regard, where it's like, oh, I'm better than you other leftists because I I support, every U.S. imperialist project in the world.
Yeah.
And it's like, I guarantee that Vosh loves the cops too and shit for the same reason. Of like, oh, you don't get it. I'm actually educated. You're not. So it's that same bullshit. At the end of the day, you just realize like, oh, one, they're horrible posters. Two, the people who like them are just bumbling idiots or racists, or they need, or you need your like Candace Owens person who's like, oh, here's a POC telling me my racism is good.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably more the role he's filling, right? It's Candace Owens.
Yeah, Cem Özdemir is the same thing for a lot of Germans as well. That Cem Özdemir is like, see, I was Turkish, but I became German, and it's like I love everything that then's white and German and this and that and that. So yeah, I mean, it's like this is just a product of posting, and that we now have posters as pundits, and apparently as people who are experts for everything that you want to be. So
yeah, advising political parties, even like really dumb ones. So very interested to see how that goes. Very telling what posters are already up, kind of thing. Like,
oh yeah, I've taken a peek at some of them. They're all pretty dull. Die Linke has no money, clearly. Oh my god, they're just white backgrounds and then black type font.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think they're a lot better than the last posters.
Because that's not.
I mean, I was thinking about this. You fall into the problem that like every European country has, where you have like an actually principled left wing party or more principled left wing party versus the like historically like Labour center left social democracy problem. You always get that when you get like election maps of like, oh, who won in what region, is like, and every like person who has to make those graphics is like, what color do we give Die Linke?
Because pink.
Yeah, it's like pink or purple is usually the one, and there's like, it is the thing of just like, well, we're both red. At least this time Die Linke has like decided that like, okay, SPD's doing like red backgrounds, we have to do a white background. Yeah. Otherwise we're just going to look like the same.
Yeah. The thing that then I will say that we will end this episode on is because you and I are both posters and we have a podcast. We're going to hold a poll now on our whatever page of what should we become the experts in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I should be advising the FDP on which animes to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
just sit Sebastian down and make him watch like every season of Food Wars.
Oh my god, he'd lose his mind.
Yeah, just like, so they come every time they food. Yeah. And what age are they? Don't think about it too much.
He's a libertarian, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
right?
no, you'll be fine with it, I guess.
That is the thing that then actually is very funny with the FDP, is that the thing I do kind of like with them is that they only like the libertarianism stuff of like the market. Everything else, they're actually like, even like when it comes to weed, they're actually like, oh no, we're actually really not pro weed. Like they're just conservative.
They are just gonna like they've had several moments to prove themselves. I guess they weren't around to really prove themselves for like the gay marriage thing. Because that just kind of
the Guido Westerwelle was like one of the first ministers of Germany who was openly gay.
Yeah,
so they did like the FDP.
They supported it historically, but like the way gay marriage happened in this country was so like unmonumental, like compared to like, you know, when it happened in the US or compared to when it happened in Ireland with a big vote or something like that they didn't really get a chance to capitalize it, and now they just don't really talk about it anymore because it's happened.
Yeah, I mean, Merkel was also against it, and everyone forgets that legacy of hers. Wherever you ask, like, I've been at parties and people where I don't know why I got on the topic of Angela Merkel, and they were like, oh, like as a gay person, they were like, oh, I like Angela Merkel because what she did for gay rights. I mean, you mean continuously be against them?
Yeah,
and they're like, oh no, she wasn't. I'm like, well then what are you talking? Oh well, you know, she was quiet, and like, you know, I'm like, yeah, she was quiet because she was against it, and her entire party was like, that's being a homophobe still. The way that liberals will contort their brain into thinking that then because of Germany's really kind of like silent legalization of gay marriage, that this country is magically not homophobic is given. Remember, these people are also quite privileged themselves, typically white rich families who then are, you know, LGBT. Actually, no, not even LGBT, particularly just gay men. Yeah, you know, so it is. I mean, it is a weird country. It is a weird thing that there are issues like that. That the FDP being like in the national parliament too, having their current thing with the dual citizenship problem.
Oh, that's also, we didn't touch on that, but this is also wrapped up in all of this discussion. Is just like Germany's now maybe going to start being a bit sounder to migrants, and then everyone's just like, nah, not too fast.
Exactly. And then this just kind of kicked off, and the FDP can kind of like morph into whatever it wants them, because the thing that they want in the federal election next year, or not next year, in 2 years, is 2024, right? No, 2025. Sorry, 2025. Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, but 2024 is EU elections.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those are your wheelhouse. Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Also, the lead up to those are so boring that they're pretty easy to cover.
I gotta think the. Yeah, no, they are.
No, I mean they're pretty quick. You nerd out over them, and they're fun because then you get to see like what would voting in the UK look like for real.
I am very related to this and slightly off topic.
Oh, wait, no, the UK is not even part of the EU anymore.
No, they're not.
So it doesn't even fucking matter.
They're gone now. But
what if Germany everywhere?
But Berlin elections, I'm very happy to say, and I'm going to take credit for this. I don't think Volt are contesting them.
Oh, they are.
Are they?
Their posters are all over town.
I haven't seen them anywhere near here.
I've seen them.
Oh, I've blown them out of this neighborhood.
I've seen them in Moabit, baby.
They know I live here.
Yeah, exactly. This is a Volt-free zone.
This is me. Just
whatever.
menacingly.
Boris Johnson's plan for Derry is what we're gonna have here, of just a 5-mile Volt excluded zone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Germany, baby. New year, 2023. New me. Same Germany. We love it. That's the name of the episode.
New me, same Germany. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. All right, 2023, more Corner Späti coming soon. We will see you on the bonus episode.
Yeah, which means that obviously we're getting back to doing that, which means you still want to get onto that. The price is still €3 for all bonus content. And it may not be staying there, but we haven't decided yet.
You got one more month at least.
Yeah, come and get it. You can do if you get the €3 Patreon subscription, you get all of our back catalog. There's now 2 new Cyberpunks.
People listened to those, really liked them, and didn't realize that there was also 3 Cyberpunk episodes from the year previous.
Baby. So more Cyberpunk this year as well too.
Yeah.
What else is happening this year that we have planned? I don't know. Kieran and I are going to make albums.
we're going into our smooth jazz phase.
Oh no, I meant seriously that then you and I are actually probably for the next Cyberpunk thing actually going to try to together make songs instead of you just making me a star without my permission.
Yeah, I robbed you. I did rob. I groomed you into a star.
Oh hell yeah. All right, then on that note, we'll see you guys all for the bonus. Yep. And if not, then on next Monday. And take care. And a Happy New Year and a Merry belated Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Happy Orthodox Christmas.
Yeah.
I guess that's soon.
Yeah. Unless you're Greek, then your Christmas was on the 25th.
Yeah, and Merry... King's Day. That was it. That's January 6th. Just Spaniards listening to this.
Oh, yeah, the Epiphany.
Yeah. Epiphany.
Yeah. We're Catholic podcast still.
Catholic podcast.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. Forgot the Pope's burning it. The ex-Pope's burning in hell.
We
killed the Pope. Yeah. Oh, year's chaotic already enough.
It's great.
All right. Take care.
Bye.